Hello, Intellect family. Welcome to Intellect. My name is Survi, and I would like to welcome you to Intellect. I came from strong background in environment research. I have worked as a project biologist and research scholar at WII, that is Wildlife Institute of India. I have also been UPSC experience, so I bring both practical experience and deep understanding of environment issues. And in this channel, we will try to simplify some complex topic and making learning meaningful. So I'm excited to share some meaningful discussions. And first, I'm going to start with our environment series, and the name of series is Interact Earth, where we focus and discuss about environment concepts, solutions, case study, and yes, some Supreme Court cases also. However, I want this to be a space where we interact, learn, and yes, grow together. So let's get started. Okay, guys. This is about myself. Okay, it's me, and this is about myself. Okay, so before we begin this lecture, let's understand that why this lecture is useful. Yes, this lecture is useful to you guys because it helps you to build a strong conceptual understanding. Okay, and uh, second, it is highly useful for the competitive exam and academics. And the third, it connects the theory with real world issues. And the last and final, it develop awareness and critical thinking and helping us to become more responsible citizens. Okay, now who can benefit from this lecture? Yes, a UGC aspirant, environment is a key topic in paper 1 and this lecture clarify a core concept and thinkers. UPSC aspirant, environment issues are vital for the GS paper and essays, and this lecture provide a philosophical foundation. As you know that for UPSC aspirant, how much current issues and environment issues help you to build our answer and for your answer writing. Okay, and yes, environment is such a topic where you can integrate your sociology part with environment, you can integrate your polity part with environment, and you can integrate your economic part with environment. If you give all these dimensions in your answers, it may look strong. Okay, so next, 11th and 12th grade students, disconnect textbook environment chapters to the real world examples, and the MSc student that adds this interdisciplinary depth in combining psychology, ecology, and philosophy. Okay, so this is today's lecture topic. Okay, so the title of the topic, Understanding Environment and Our Relationship with It. Okay, in this topic, the content is first we will discuss the definition of environment and environment science, and the second, key philosophers and how these psychologies, how these philosophers relate to the environment perception. Okay, are real life examples of environment issues and human behavior, and scope, pollutions, climate change, sustainability, and how they shape society. Okay, guys. So what is environment? And before we discuss what is environment, okay, I just want to ask you a question, some simple questions. Okay, so what before understand this environment science, so let me ask you some simple questions. Now tell me, can we live without air? No. Okay, and can we live without water? Of course no. And can we live without soil, plants, and animals? Again no. Okay, so everything around us that support life is called environment. So in हिंदी जो कुछ भी हमारे आसपास है और हमारे जीवन को प्रभावित कर रहा है वही environment है. So the world environment comes from the French word environment. It means to surround, to encircle, and to be around something. Okay, so imagine yourself standing in a park. The trees, the birds, air, soil, sunlight, water, insects, and even other people around you together form your environment. Okay, so environment equals to that everything that surrounds us. Hmm? So you can understand by this example that what is environment. जो कुछ भी आपके आसपास है, चाहे वो पेड़ पौधे हो, चाहे वो सनलाइट हो, चाहे वो वाटर हो, चाहे वो कोई भी इंसान हो, देखो आसपास के लोग भी हमें अफेक्ट कर रहे हैं, आसपास की सराउंडिंग भी हमें अफेक्ट कर रही है, आसपास का पानी भी हमें अफेक्ट कर रहा है। तो जब सब कुछ, और इवन हम ये बोलेंगे कि चाहे वो पानी हो, जब वाटर स्कैरिसिटी होती है तो ऑब्वियस ये बात है हमारी चॉइसेस भी बढ़ अलग हो जाती है। अगर गर्मी होती है तो हमारी चॉइसेस अलग हो जाती है, क्यों? क्योंकि वो हमारा इन्वायरमेंट उस समय गर्म हो जाता है। अगर विंटर है, ठंड है, तो हमारी चॉइसेस डिफरेंट हो जाती है, क्यों? क्योंकि उस समय हमारा इन्वायरमेंट थोड़ा ठंडा हो जाता है। तो हाउ environment affect us, okay, how these things affect us is called environment. Okay, so let's come to historical background by the environment. In the environment, the term environment in ecology was introduced by Jacob Sven Uxker. So he emphasized that every organism experiences its own environment according to its need, its perception. For example, a flower and honeybee see the same garden differently. The flower needs sunlight and water, and the bee looks for the nectar, and same environment but different perspective. So, according to JVU, he emphasized that every organism, okay, every organism experiences its own environment according to its need, perception. Okay, जब हम अपनी नीड के अकॉर्डिंग, हम अपने परसेप्शन के अकॉर्डिंग, हम अपना इन्वायरमेंट, हमारा एक्सपीरियंस, जो भी हम एक्सपीरियंस करते हैं वही हमारा इन्वायरमेंट होता है, और वो हमारी नीड और परसेप्शन के अकॉर्डिंग होता है, और वही हमारी चॉइसेस को डिसाइड करता है। ओके, और ये सच है, काफी हद तक ये सच है, क्योंकि जैसे मैंने आप लोगों को अभी इससे पहले बताया कि गर्मियों में हमारा इन्वायरमेंट अलग होता है, गर्म होता है, तो हमारा परसेप्शन, हमारी नीड, हमारी चॉइसेस भी बदल जाती है। ओके, so the next definition given by under definition under Environment Protection Act 1986. Okay, so according to this act, environment include land, water, and air. And all these things, land, water, air, interact with each other. And all three interact with living organisms, including human beings. Okay? And the interconnectedness of all these things, okay, are called environment, according to this definition. The interrelationship among them and with human beings and other living organisms are environment. Okay, let's understand with the easy example. Suppose a river get polluted, water become dirty, fish die, and bird lost food, and humans suffer diseases. Yes, human also lost their food because many communities depended on ponds, depended on river to for their livelihood, for their survival, for their food habits. Okay, so uh, not only disease but also livelihood. Okay, so we can understand that how these things affect us. So let's understand what is environment science. Environment science is an interdisciplinary subject. It combines biology, chemistry, physics, geography, ecology, and sociology. to understand environment problem and their solutions. Okay, so let's understand with some simple examples. Suppose a lake become polluted. Okay, a biologist came and studied fish dead there. Chemist studies toxic chemicals, and the physicians study a change in temperature in that lake. Okay, and so sociologists study effect on local people. So what all together they solve the problem, and this is what this is environment science. Hmm? What happened that suppose a lake become polluted, a biologist came and studied a fish dead. Okay, and they found there is some chemical pollution. Okay, and what kind of chemical? Then chemists come and study that nature and properties of that chemical. Okay, and the physicians came. Okay, so not even physicians, the physics part. Okay, that change in temperature due to that chemical. Okay, they study, and then sociologists came, and yes, because local population depend on that lake, and livelihood depend on the even the culture part also depend on that. So sociologists came and study all the effect on local people, and all biologists, chemists, physicists, sociologists, okay, came just understand that problem, then came came and give solutions, okay, and then recommendations. Okay, so definition given by different scholars. The first definition given by Anna Anastasi definition. Okay, so according to Anna Anastasi said, everything that affect individual is environment except his genes. So environment is everything that affect the individuals except his genes. कहने का मतलब है कि सब कुछ जो भी इंडिविजुअल को अफेक्ट कर रहा है, इन्वायरमेंट ही सब कुछ इंडिविजुअल को अफेक्ट करता है उसके जीन्स को छोड़ के. ओके, हमें इस डेफिनेशन को एक फैक्ट नहीं मानना है, क्योंकि ये इनका एक परसेप्शन है. ये इन्होंने उस टाइम पे कोशिश की थी इन्वायरमेंट को समझने की, उसको जानने की, उसको अंडरस्टैंड करने की. ठीक है, तो उन्होंने अपना एक परसेप्शन दिया, और उस परसेप्शन के अकॉर्डिंग लोगों ने आगे इसको स्टडी किया और फिर अपने साइंस रिलेटेड फैक्ट निकाले. हो सकता है कि आप लोगों में से बहुत बच्चे सोचे कि नहीं, ऐसा नहीं है, इन्वायरमेंट भी जीन को अफेक्ट करता है इन केस ऑफ एपिजेनेटिक्स. बट यस, बट वो एक फैक्ट है, वो एक साइंटिफिक डिस्कवरी है, एंड ये एक स्कॉलर का परसेप्शन है. जो कि पढ़ना बहुत ज़रूरी है, अपने आंसर राइटिंग में उसको मेंशन करना बहुत ज़रूरी है, ताकि इनके जो भी एफर्ट्स थे उसको रिकॉग्नाइज किया जा सके, एंड चीज़ें कैसे इवॉल्व हो रही है. ठीक है, कैसे ये चीज़ें इवॉल्व हुई, पहले किसने क्या सोचा और आगे कैसे क्या फैक्ट निकला, ये पूरा प्रोसेस वी शुड नो. ओके, और यही हमारी आंसर राइटिंग में भी दिखना चाहिए, ताकि एग्जामिनर को लगे कि हाँ, इनको पता है चीज़ें. ये ऐसे ही नहीं कि कोई भी उठा के कोई भी फैक्ट लिख दिया, इनको उसके पीछे की बैकग्राउंड स्टोरी भी पता है, एंड दिस इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. आप लोग को भी अच्छा लगता है जब हम पीछे से कुछ बैकग्राउंड स्टोरी बताते हैं. ओके, तो वैसे ही एग्जामिनर को भी पढ़ने में बहुत अच्छा लगता है जब पीछे से कोई छोटा मोटा बैकग्राउंड स्टोरीज अगर उसमें लिख दी जाए या बता दी जाए. सो explanation is, suppose explanation is, genes come from parents and everything else come from environment. Okay, so let's understand with example. Two students have similar intelligence. Okay, and two students have similar intelligent, and one score like one okay, two people, two students with similar intelligence, and one study in peaceful environment and other study in noisy environment. Okay, so what and result are not same, their result are not same due to environment. So what is more responsible now? Genes are not responsible for that. Okay, environment is responsible for their result. Okay, let's understand with another example. Imagine you decide to wake up at 5:15 a.m. Okay, and you start study, but your neighbor came and start playing DJ at music at 4:55 a.m. Okay, and now you are not able to study. So what thing is responsible for this? Your environment, okay, not your gene. Your gene are not that intelligent that even after DJ you're able to study. Okay, so what affect your result is environment. She's an Anastasia and she is very beautiful. Okay, but one study. Okay, I already explained this example. Okay, she is mother of psychologists. Testing, according to her, population testing should always consider environment which include culture and education. This is not necessary thing to read, but yes, I mentioned because now comes to boring definition. Okay, he's an American experimental psychologist, and according to Edwin Gerges boring, okay, an environment consists of the total stimulation a person receives from the conception until death. Oh, so what boring said is environment consists of total stimulation. All stimulation a person receives from the conceptions until death. Hmm? जब वो पैदा होता है, जितनी भी स्टिमुलेशंस कोई भी पर्सन रिसीव करता है जब वो पैदा होता है टिल दैट, ठीक है, वही इन्वायरमेंट है अकॉर्डिंग टू हिम. फ्रॉम बर्थ टू डेथ एवरीथिंग वी एक्सपीरियंस फॉर्म्स आवर इन्वायरमेंट. यही इसका एक्सप्लेनेशन है. ओके, सो सपोज एग्जांपल, a family, a school, friends, mobile phone, social media, workplace, all influence our behavior. आजकल मोबाइल एंड सोशल मीडिया ज्यादा इन्फ्लुएंस कर रहा है, बट यस बाकी सब चीजें भी पहले किया करती थी. आजकल तो पता नहीं, बट आज पहले हुआ करती थी ये सारी चीजें जो हमें इन्फ्लुएंस करती थी, हमारे इन्वायरमेंट को इन्फ्लुएंस करती थी, स्पेशली हमारे फ्रेंड्स. ओके, let's understand some daily life example. Okay, a child growing up near a library and may develop a reading habit, but child growing near a gaming cafe may develop a gaming habit. Okay, the surrounding influence the behavior. Now comes to Holland and Douglas definition. According to Holland and Douglas definition, environment is the aggregate of all external forces and conditions affecting the life development of living organism. Environment is the aggregate of all external forces, influences, and conditions affect the life and development of living organism. Okay, so according to them, all the aggregate of all external forces, okay, influences, conditions affecting the life and development of living organism. तो कोई भी लिविंग ऑर्गेनिज्म है, उसको जो कंडीशंस जितनी भी है, मतलब इन्फ्लुएंस एंड कंडीशंस जितनी भी है, ये सारी की सारी चीजें हमारी डेवलपमेंट को अफेक्ट कर रही है, हमारी लाइफ, हमारी डेवलपमेंट को अफेक्ट कर रही है, वही एनवायरनमेंट है. चाहे वो इन्फ्लुएंस हो, चाहे वो कंडीशंस हो, चाहे वो एक्सटर्नल फोर्स हो, ऑल आर affecting our development of living organism. Environment includes all external force affecting the growth and development. Okay, but according to them is it includes all external force. Example for a plant. Okay, let's assume a plant in a garden. What external force it need to grow? It need soil, water, sunlight, and temperature, and all influences growth. Okay, for humans, yes, and yes, for if we take human example, a family, society, education, pollution's level, all influence our development. Okay. Now comes to Down definitions. According to Downs, okay, environment is the public arrangement of physical, biological, and social condition combined in a specific area and time. इसको हम एक एग्जाम्पल से अंडरस्टैंड करते हैं. सपोज ये कहना क्या चाह रहे हैं, जो भी पब्लिक अरेंजमेंट है फिजिकल, बायोलॉजिकल, सोशल कंडीशन का, वो सारा आपस में कंबाइन होता है किसी एक स्पेसिफिक एरिया और स्पेसिफिक टाइम में, और वही हमारा एनवायरनमेंट है. एग्जाम्पल दिल्ली, वहाँ पे जो भी अरेंजमेंट है फिजिकल नीड्स, बायोलॉजिकली एंड सोशल कंडीशन जो भी दिल्ली का है, वो वहाँ का इन्वायरमेंट है. किसी एक स्पेसिफिक एरिया में, किसी एक स्पेसिफिक टाइम में वहाँ का इन्वायरमेंट है. सेम अगर हम लोग केरला जाएं और वहाँ का जो बायोलॉजिकल, सोशल कंडीशन एंड फिजिकल अरेंजमेंट जो भी है वहाँ पे रहने के लिए, ठीक है, वो एक अलग है, और वो वहाँ का इन्वायरमेंट डिफाइन कर रहे हैं, ठीक है, उस एरिया का उस टाइम पीरियड में. ठीक है, तो according to Down definition, environment is a public arrangement of physical, biological, and social conditions combined in a specific area and time. Okay. So, in explanation, that environment is not only nature, it includes social conditions also. And काफी हद तक सही भी है. ठीक है, a city and a village having different environment because a different people, different lifestyles, different pollution level, and different resources. Define our environment, okay, and that environment define our growth, our conditions, our development. So student, here we saw that mostly scholars are psychologists. Why they are psychologists and why they study environment? Okay, so this is very interesting intersections, okay, right? Because you know what, environment environment philosophy is not just about nature. Okay, if we see it's about human relate to it. Psychologists are deeply involved to study how human and how human perceive values and behave toward environment is crucial. Okay, crucial to know that it is important to know that how human being all means how human being influence with environment and behave toward particular environment. So this idea explore that why we protect or exploit nature. Okay, so how we form attitude about sustainability, how we might ignore environment crisis. In other words, environment is not just external. Okay, so in other words, suppose environment is not an external thing. It is a psychologists integrate this with human psychology. Okay, इन्होंने क्या किया कि इसको जो साइकोलॉजिस्ट थे, इन्होंने इन्वायरमेंट को मतलब ह्यूमन साइकोलॉजी को समझने के लिए कि ऑब्वियस सी बात है, साइकोलॉजिस्ट क्या पूछेगा, अगर आप किसी साइकोलॉजिस्ट के पास जाओगे तो वो आपसे क्या पूछेगा, आपसे वो यही पूछेगा, अगर आप उसको अपनी प्रॉब्लम या मेंटल स्टेट को लेके जा रहे हो, वो आपसे यही पूछेगा कि आपका इन्वायरमेंट कैसा है, आपके आसपास के लोग कैसे हैं, आपकी सराउंडिंग कैसी है. पहले वो आपसे यही क्वेश्चंस करेगा. ओके, फिर वो आपकी प्रॉब्लम को जानने की कोशिश करेगा, और अगर वो आपकी प्रॉब्लम जानने की कोशिश भी करता है पहले, तो उसको जानने के थ्रू आपके इन्वायरमेंट को समझने की कोशिश करेगा कि ओके, ये प्रॉब्लम इसकी ये इसीलिए है क्योंकि इसका इन्वायरमेंट इस तरीके का है. ओके, तो इन्वायरमेंट इज वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट थिंग. ठीक है, और इस ये जो इंटरसेक्शन है ना, इट इज वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग, very very interesting. So let's come to the component of environment. Environment has two major components: biotic component, yes, living component, which is living component. Okay, human, plants, animals, bacteria, fungi, all these are the biotic component. Okay, abiotic component are non-living component, and these are air, water, soil, sunlight, temperature. Okay, so let's understand with simple example. A fish needs a water, a abiotic, and food organism is biotic. Okay, So now the scope of environment sciences. Environment science deals with a natural resource, forest, water, mineral, energy. Example, saving electricity at home is resource conservation. Hmm? Ecosystem. Now these are the definition we will study because in the scope of environment. And yes, in further lecture, in very elaborate manner, in a detailed manner, we will study there. But now in this lecture, because this is our introductory part, so it's just a definition given here. What is ecosystem? Ecosystem is the interaction between living and non-living components. And example, a pond ecosystem, fish, algae, insects, and water interact continuously. Okay. And what is biodiversity? Biodiversity is the interaction between living and non-living component. Example, a pond ecosystem, fish, algae, insect, water interact continuously. Hmm. So, what is biodiversity? Sorry for interruption. Okay, what is biodiversity? A variety of living organism. You know, biodiversity में क्या होता है कि बहुत सारे organism, living organism, including us, हम biodiversity में पढ़ते हैं. ठीक है, human beings को भी biodiversity का part माना गया है. ठीक है, so India is a rich in biodiversity. Himalayan forest to Sundarban mangrove we have. Okay, now comes to environment pollution, air pollution, water pollution, soil pollution, and noise pollutions. Okay, these are pollutions, and which we in detail I will explain you in further lectures in details. Okay, environment pollution itself one big topic. Okay, now climate change. It's also one of very important topic related to current environment crisis. Okay, so increase in global temperature due to greenhouse gases. Now sustainable development, meeting present need without harming future generation, means हिंदी में अगर इसे बोला जाए, हम इतना ही उपयोग करें कि अगली जनरेशन के लिए भी रिसोर्स बचा रहे. So series of environment issues. Suppose air pollution in Delhi. Every winter, Delhi faces severe smoke. Reason: vehicle emission, industrial pollutions, crop residue burning. Effect: asthma, breathing problem, eye irritation, and this shows how environment directly affect the human being. And I know अक्टूबर नवंबर में सारे न्यूज चैनल में दिल्ली का एयर पॉल्यूशन चलता है उस टाइम पे, और हर कोई अवेयर है इस क्राइसिस के बारे में. ओके, जो दिल्ली में रह रहे हैं वो तो है ही, वो तो अफेक्टेड है. ठीक है, बट यस जो नहीं भी रहते हैं, थ्रू न्यूज चैनल उनको पता चल ही जाता है कि कितना सीवियर स्मोक दिल्ली में हो रखा है. Ganga river pollution, this is one of I think in North India, this is one of major crisis with respect to water pollution. Okay, because many industry and untreated sewage water enter the river Ganga, and it affect water contamination, harm to aquatic life, health issues, and this demonstrate that connection between human and environment. Yes, government came with many solutions because the government set up sewage treatment plant. Okay, and recommendation to industries. Okay, and there are many programs like Namami Ganga program. ठीक है, as government, this is I think one of huge project. ठीक है, to clean Ganga river. Okay, we will read this topic in detail in the details. Okay, in further lecture. Now come to climate change. I don't know what happened. Uh, I'm not able to. What happened to these slides? Hmm. But yes, climate change. Heat wave are increasing everywhere. You know, every year heat waves are increasing. Okay, many cities recorded temperature above 45 degrees Celsius, and it affect water shortage, crop failure, and health risk. Hmm? You know what? क्लाइमेट चेंज में क्या हो रहा है, कुछ तो जोग्राफिकल फैक्टर्स हैं, ओके, जो आप जोग्राफी में पढ़ोगे या आगे मैं ही पढ़ाऊंगी आप लोगों को डिटेल में, ठीक है। एंड कुछ ड्यू टू एंथ्रोपोलॉजिकल डिस्टर्बेंस की वजह से भी हम सीवियर क्लाइमेट चेंज फेस कर रहे हैं। सो दिस इज आई थिंक मेजर क्राइसिस इन द वर्ल्ड, और उसकी वजह से इतनी गर्मी हो रही है, इतनी गर्मी हो रही है। और शायद जो लोग थोड़ी से ठंडे एरिया में भी होंगे वो भी अब वो हीट को एक्सपीरियंस करने लग गए हैं। Daily life environment examples are: example 1, leaving the tap running while brushing seems small, but millions doing the same waste huge amount of water. Here, waste huge amount of water. Example 2, using cloth bag instead of plastic bags. A small action can reduce plastic pollution. Example 3, switching off lights even when leaving a room save electricity and natural resources. So, let's come to the conclusion. You know, environment is not just a tree and river, it includes everything around us that affect life. So environment science help us to understand human environment interaction, pollutions, biodiversity, climate change, sustainable development. A responsible citizen, we must protect our environment because we do not inherit the earth from our ancestors, we borrow it from our children. So remember, if we protect nature today, nature will protect us tomorrow. I hope that you guys like this lecture. Thank you for watching. If you found this video helpful, please like, share and subscribe to Inklat, and don't forget to turn on notifications so you never miss a new episode. Until next time, stay curious, informed and keep interacting with knowledge. Okay, thank you guys. Thank you so much.